As I was scouring the internet looking for videos to bring you guys today, I of course came across something that has to do with the MCU. And what may that be, you are asking right now? Well, you can see it up here. Brie Larson is apparently supposed to be getting the same treatment as the king himself, Tony Stark, Iron Man himself, RDJ. And what made that be? You may be asking right now. I'll tell you. I'll gladly tell you. She may be the forefront of Marvel going forward. I don't know how to feel about. I don't like Brie Larson. I've been very vocal about that in the past. I don't like Brie Larson. I think she's a one-dimensional character when she plays Captain Marvel. I think her way of using Captain Marvel as an agenda is just completely wrong. You keep politics with politics and movies with movies. You don't push a certain agenda in movies to try to get your message across, because people are supposed to be watching movies and entertainment to escape that kind of real world issue. But no, Miss Brie Larson here has had talks with Marvel about getting the same treatment as Mr. Robert Downey Jr. himself, someone who has earned the treatment that he has gotten because he was the footnote. He was in phase 1 of Marvel, and he's deserved it. It's nature's rule that when one goes, someone else takes their place. It doesn't have to be Brie Larson. You have a lot of other people that deserves that role. You killed Black Widow off when she didn't even get a movie yet before Captain Marvel got a movie. Her first movie is coming out in 2020. Captain Marvel's movie came out in 2019. But Black Widow was in a movie since Iron Man 2. Captain Marvel was in a movie 2 years ago. How are you going? With Captain Marvel's 2019, Brie Larson made her debut in the debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. She was also a part of Avengers Endgame, which featured almost every MCU superhero. It was the last film starring RDJ as Iron Man, aka as Tony Stark, aka as Playboy, billionaire, philanthropist. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about this, because being at the same caliber as RDJ means you get the same pay, or close to the same pay as RDJ. Now, Captain Marvel chalked in around 1.1 billion at box office globally. Avengers Endgame was at around, I don't remember, so don't kill me on this, it was around 3 billion globally. And Infinity War wasn't that far behind. I think it was like 2.75 or 2.80 billion globally. I may be wrong. Again, please don't crucify me in the comment section. I'm sorry. But Robert Downey Jr. has been at the forefront of Marvel for over a decade, may I add. Over a decade. A few months ago, there were reports that the Room actress wants Marvel to give her RDJ-type treatment. The report stated that Brie Larson wanted the MCU to make her their face like the Iron Man actor was. Well, it looks like this will happen soon. Let me tell you something. Iron Man, like Batman for the DCEU, Captain America, like Superman for the DCEU, are two of the most popular characters on the face of the earth. And Stanley, thank you for bringing us these characters. Rest in peace to you. You will be missed. Okay, I'll miss you in those cameos you did. I'm gonna be honest. But that's why he's the face of Marvel, because he played a character that is the face of Marvel. The comics, TV shows, movies. Captain Marvel, if I could say, is a ripoff of Wonder Woman. Who Wonder Woman is? I mean, they're a ripoff of each other. You know, DC and Marvel, they copy each other. Namor like Aquaman. Aquaman came out first, then Namor came. You know, Bruce Wayne came first, then Iron Man came. So it's just like let's just read this because I'm about to go on a tangent and I'm about to get pissed off. As reported by We Got This Covered, Marvel Studios have agreed to all of Captain Marvel actress requests. Brie Larson will be getting higher pay than she was seeking, as she has a significant role in MCU Phase 4. Her name will appear first in the trailer and on the posters. Now, I read something a couple months ago that said that will not happen. That will no longer happen. Tom Holland will be taking over as the face of the MCU after it seemed that RDJ's character of Iron Man and Tony Stark passed the torch down to him. So they're reneging on what they said. So this appears the Robert Downey Jr. type deal. Well, it doesn't seem like it. RDJ had 3 Iron Man films and appeared in several MCU films. So far, Brie Larson has only appeared in 2. Meanwhile, there were reports that Captain Marvel will feature 7 heroes in it. It will be like a mini Avengers film. However, neither the actress nor studios have confirmed anything about her request of the film storyline. What do you have to say about this? Please let me know below. Now, I did see another article that talked numbers. So let's go ahead and look up what those numbers were, because we all know that Mr. RDJ himself had a big payday. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was a big payday. And and RDJ is worth a lot of money, I can only assume. Okay, so oh, I clicked the wrong one. This is the one we just had open. It's this one right here. Forgive me. Right here. We got this covered. We just read about that. So, it says here, during the formative years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Marvel Studios had something of a reputation of being difficult to negotiate with and frequently offering low-paying contracts to the actors they were interested in. Robert Downey Jr. was paid $500,000. He was only paid $500,000. He was paid $500,000 in the first Iron Man. He was only paid $500,000. They make that sound like a low number, first of all. Okay, while co-star Terrence Howard walked away with 3 times as much. Well, Terrence Howard at that point was an established actor. Robert Downey Jr. was an actor, and he's been in a couple movies, but the MCU is what projected him to the stardom that he's at right now. And I'm not reading that. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at what, I just read, because I'm just like, wow. Okay. Terrence Howard walked away with 3 times as much, but fast forward a decade and Howard was nowhere to be seen, while RDJ ranked in $75 million for a farewell in Avengers Endgame. $75 million. Robert Downey Jr. $75 million for the farewell. That was for one film. One film, Mr. Robert Downey Jr. chalked in $75 million. What? When your movies are amongst the highest grossing of the year, then your stars will inevitably seek the highest paid. Brie Larson cast in a hefty $5 million for headlining Captain Marvel. $5 million? Wait a minute. Hold the hell on. Robert Downey Jr., when he first came on, only chalked in $500,000. Then Brie Larson, in her first outing in the MCU, which was Captain Marvel, $5 million, and she wants more? Which is the highest amount the studio have ever paid someone for their first starring role in the MCU. Like I said earlier, that movie brought in $1.1 billion at the box office. Don't know why, because the story was convoluted as hell. It was all over the place. It was poorly written. You had too many agendas in it. Oh my God. These people are making bank. His last outing as Iron Man, if he spent $1 million every year, I think that will equal out to 75 years that he is set. If he just spent $1 million a year. My math isn't too good, so forgive me. I'm sorry, I didn't pass math. I wasn't good at math. Science and history was my subject. Math was not. But my man had, and then she brought in $5 million for her first film. That has to be including appearances, merch, plus the revenue that the movie makes, plus the sign-on. Like, okay, we don't care about you. We previously heard that Larson wanted equal pay to her male co-stars, more creative input over her solo franchise, and top billing over a major crossover project. No. She did a Netflix movie that she directed, and it turned out terrible. She does not need to give input on anything. She just needs to... I don't like Brie Larson, if y'all could tell. I don't like her one bit. She did okay in that movie with Michael B. Jordan. She did okay in Kong. Okay, she did okay. I don't like her as a person. I just don't. There are more deserving females in this franchise that deserved... Black Widow didn't get a movie until this year. She's been in it since Iron Man 2. She comes in. How much does Scarlett Johansson make? Now I need to know. Scarlett. She would. Come on. She got $100,000 less than RDJ in his first Iron Man movie. Okay, first Iron Man movie. Scarlett Johansson came into the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Iron Man 2 and raked in $400K. $400K. Brie Larson came in and got $5 million? Are you serious? And then fast forward to 2020 and it says right here, I don't know if these numbers are accurate, so forgive me if the numbers aren't accurate, but it says right here, Black Widow in her solo movie, which she finally is getting this year, and we were already supposed to get this past couple months ago, she's raking in $15 million for the lead role in her solo movie. She's getting one solo movie. But Brie Larson's getting God knows how many solo movies. And she's getting $10 million less than what Scarlett Johansson is getting. I'm done. I'm done with Marvel. I'm just completely done. And then you're gonna make her the forefront of Marvel Generation 4. I'm gonna call it Generation 4 because it's Phase 4 and it's just 4th generation. You're gonna make her... Just because she has captain in her name doesn't mean that she's the captain that everybody is gonna listen to. Okay? I don't know why they do these things, but they do these things and expect people to be okay with it. Shuri should be on a higher pedestal than her. Shuri is a princess of Uganda. Black Widow should have had more movies than she did. Okay. We still didn't get a freaking Scarlet Witch movie. And I'd like to see a Scarlet Witch movie. Okay? I'd like to see how that whole thing started. We only got a glimpse in Age of Ultron. I'd like to see how that whole thing started. Where Robert Downey Jr. and the Avengers came to Sokovia and just destroyed it. And how that whole thing started with her and Quicksilver. And just, I'd like to see that. But no. Brie Larson here. It may get creative control over her future movies and features. What? I guarantee you she has not read one Captain Marvel comic book or any comic book that has featured Captain Marvel. She probably went on Wikipedia and looked up some information and thinks she knows the character. Her character was one-dimensional in the Captain Marvel movie. It wasn't enjoyable. The only enjoyable part was freaking Samuel L. Jackson. And the Skrulls. I kind of like the Skrulls. You know, those weren't the ultimate Skrulls or anything. They were just Skrulls. You know, like Like people, you have your good Skrulls and your bad Skrulls. They just so happen to run into the good Skrulls that want to do something for their race. You know, I'm so glad the Russos gave her that little behind part, and it's so funny because she was supposed to be the strongest Avenger, right? That came into the end game, and she was gonna be the key to defeating Thanos, and she wasn't. Iron Man was the key to defeating Thanos. Okay, Thanos kicked her tail all over that battlefield. My girl tried to be a powerhouse. He took that power stone out of that gauntlet, did one of these, and alley-ooped her across the field. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends and family. If let me know in the comment section what you think of this. If you are a diehard Marvel fan, let me know in the comment section what you think of this. Also, Anthony and Joe Russo, if y'all are looking for a Namor actor, if you guys are gonna produce any more MCU movies, just hit me up on my social media. It's in the description down below. It's all in the description down below. You just gotta let me know, okay? Zack Snyder, if you are going to continue your Snyderverse with HBO Max and you need an Aqualad, I said it on Twitter and I'll say it right here. Hit me up. Any Aqua-based characters that y'all need, shoot. I'll freaking play a sword and a jellyfish. I don't care. I just want to work with y'all. Y'all tell a good story. Come on, just hit me up, please. Please. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe, share with your friends and family. $75 million. $75 million. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm done.